Howdy, members. So, welcome to the very first video for my members only. And of course, you may notice if you've watched some of my other videos that I normally have music playing when I do a time lapse. And this is my first attempt at trying to talk over a time lapse. So, hopefully, you can hear me fine, and hopefully, the audio and the video are playing just fine for you. So this is what I call Caretaker Aero Site B. And what we are doing here, obviously, is putting up a more robust wall separation between my hangar and the hangar next door. Now, what you may have noticed at the very, very beginning, where we are working right now, there was some material there. And I'll just say that it was material because it really wasn't a wall. It was basically pieces of garage door, and the garage door was like it was almost like a corrugated cardboard. Almost, it was really bad. And below those sections was just some pieces of pine and some really thin, like eighth inch plywood. So I just wanted something more secure. I wanted something that was taller than 8 feet. You can see kind of on the right there, that wall is an existing wall when I rented the hangar, and it's only 8 feet tall. You can see the open space above that. So anybody in that other hangar with a ladder could very easily jump over onto my side and then pass the ladder over and, do whatever the heck they want. So I just wanted to basically redo this entire wall. Now, the wall that you see us working on now, obviously the trash garage door and plywood were taken out, and we are basically building a wall from scratch using 2x4s. We're doing 24-inch centers on the 2x4s. The wall that you can't see, the wall that the camera is up against, it is finished. That wall was put up by my hangar mate or my hangar neighbor on the other side. So it is 2x4 construction, 24-inch centers, and it is sheeted with OSB, but the sheets are on his side of the wall. So my side of the wall is the sheeting is on the back side, if you will. My side of the wall, you see all the 2x4s, which is fine. But I wanted to kind of mimic that wall. So we went with the 24-inch centers on this new part that you see us putting up here. What made the biggest difference is the scaffolding. You can see us moving the scaffolding around. My friend John, who I work with, he brought that, and that was the game changer. Trying to build these walls, they are roughly 14 feet tall. Trying to build that and work on it off of ladders would have been a real challenge. So the scaffolding was a huge benefit. Made everything so much easier to work on. So, like I said, 2x4 construction. The bottom plate is being attached with construction adhesive and Tapcons, something relatively simple. Uh, Plenty of ways to get the job done, but that's just how we decided to do it. Everything is screwed together. The 2x4s are all held together with 3-inch. What are they? They're basically drywall screws. I think they're I think they might be number 8s. And then the OSB to 2x4s are being held in place with, I think they're 2-inch screws. I don't recall. Those are also the drywall screws. Nothing too extravagant. This is a rented hangar. I don't own it. I will never have an opportunity to own it. It's a single hangar in a whole long length of hangars. The structure is basically one long tube, and then the individual renters can, if they choose, can build the walls. So I am not interested in making this a piece of art. It's not going to be very high quality, but I just wanted to get something uh, very secure, but yet not very expensive. So again, 2x4s, OSB, drywall screws. That's about it. And again, the scaffolding is a huge benefit. So that's basically the gist of this video. It's just building walls. You can see now that we've got our built from scratch wall almost complete. The existing, what I'll call a half wall, it is a full 8 feet tall, but I'll just call it a half wall for this video. We've decided to leave that as is. Originally, I was thinking about tearing the whole thing down. So that whole wall from the hangar door to the back wall was going to be torn out and we were going to start from scratch. But I was kind of maybe sort of thinking about leaving the half wall in place. And when John saw it, he recommended that we just leave it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not perfect. Some of the 2x4 spacing is a little weird. Um, the wall that's kind of in the bend, if you will, that kind of half wall that's between the dog leg wall, if you will. Right now, it's got the blue tarp over it. That wall, you can see there are kind of two lighter pieces of plywood that make up that wall, and the center of those sections do not have any 2x4s. So I actually, you might catch that here a little bit later on. I had to buy a couple 2x4s to put up in those areas where those lighter panels are because there wasn't anything there. It was basically like the corner and then like 3.5, 4 feet, and then 2x4, and then like 21 inches, another 2x4, and then another 3.5 feet, whatever it was, to the other corner. So we had to put a couple 2x4s into there, and we ran a couple of extra tab cons into the floor. And you can see John now is on the scaffolding trying to figure out some measurements, try to figure out how we're going to build these upper portions for these two areas here. I don't know when the airport was built. I don't know how old the hangars are, but the main beams, the main supports that we're trying to attach to, they are not straight. A couple of them are kind of bent. It's almost like they're kind of bending, if you will, a little bit under load. So we would like to build, the work that we're doing, we'd like to be square and plumb and true, but you can't do that when you're building off of an existing structure that is not square and plumb, and you're trying to attach it to another structure overhead that is not perfectly level. It's not true. It's not square. So we do what we can with what we have. and that's the best that anybody can do, I believe, at this point. So you can see now that we're working off of the scaffolding. We've got some basic framing going up. We had chose, as you have already seen, to work on the floor. We basically do the measurements, and then we lay those measurements out on the floor, build up the framing, and then put the framing in place rather than doing it a 2x4 at a time in place. So you basically build, sticks in place. We decided to build the framing on the floor and then install the frame as a unit. And that worked out pretty good. It's easier. I think it's easier to work that way because you're at ground level. You can put everything together on the ground and then you just have to heave it up where you need it. But these walls are relatively small. They're simple, so they don't have a lot of mass to them. So the two of us were able to manipulate them pretty easily. You can see now that the light just came on, that fluorescent light up above. So I had originally moved into this hangar years ago, probably about 5, 6 years ago. And then the hangar on the other side of this wall that we're currently building, that's an end hangar, so it's slightly bigger. So I wanted to move over into that hangar thinking I can get 2 airplanes in there. But a long story short, I was in that hangar for a few months and it didn't work out. It floods really bad. The extra space is not actually extra space, and I'm not going to get into the details. Bottom line is I could not put 2 airplanes in there, and I hated the fact that it flooded a little bit. There was a large gap between the concrete floor and the bottom of the hangar door. I'm talking like 3 to 4 inch gap through most of the length. So it flooded, and whenever there was a lot of wind, there would be all kinds of debris that would blow in under the door. When they would cut the grass, all that cut grass and debris would get blown in under the door, and it was just a mess. So the guy that had rented this hangar after I moved out, he put that light in. So that's a long story to basically say I got a free fluorescent light put in. So it just worked out that I was not happy next door, and the guy that had moved in here, for whatever reason, he decided to go back to where he came from, and it just worked out. So immediately after he left, I moved back into this hangar, and when I moved back in, I I've always wanted to build a wall. I was trying to get the airport owner to pay for it, but he would not. He wouldn't even consider paying for it. So luckily, my friend was able to help me out, and we were able to get the material and do the work for relatively cheap. So I just feel a lot more better having it nice and secure. You can see possibly that, especially on the right there with the new framing that we just put up, you can see where the top of that framing ends, and you can kind of see where the rafters for the roof gables start. There is still an area. There are areas up above the wall that we're building where you can still, if you wanted to, you can climb over. But I don't see anybody going through that amount of trouble. Like I said, it's 14 feet. You'd have to climb up and over, and you'd have to figure out once you're on my side how you're going to get back. So I'm fine with it like it is. I feel a lot more better about it. A nice, solid 14-foot tall wall, I think, is a pretty good deterrent for mischief. So, and like I said, the wall that you can't see that the camera is up against, it is the same, but it's sheeted on the other side. It's not sheeted on my side of the wall. It's sheeted on the other side. So I believe in the near future, maybe in a month or two, I'm going to put OSB sheeting on that other wall, just so both of the walls inside my hangar will be smooth, flat OSB, and I can work from there. Again, a rented hangar, it's not mine. I'll never own it. I don't want to sink a butt-ton load of money into it because although I want it to be decent while I'm using it, I don't necessarily want to put a lot of money in it and then basically not be able to take it with me when I leave. So that's about it. Um, I'm glad you guys are here because if I have people watching this video, then I must obviously have members joining my channel. So I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I will do my best to have more content in here for you guys. And I'll do my best to have a lot more kind of behind the scenes, maybe not aircraft related stuff that you guys might find entertaining, and we'll be willing to continue to stay a member and watch some behind the scenes stuff. So that's about it. This is gonna wrap up here in a couple of seconds. So again, as always, thank you very much, and I will talk to you guys later.